So, WWE, pay Drew. Speaking of paying people, WWE, pay your money. According to Cultaholic via Twitter, Mercedes never asked WWE to pay her more than the other stars. She just asked for more than what she was paid when she was in WWE previously. She was being paid less than Ronda, Charlotte, Carmella, Nia Jax, and Liv Morgan when she was in WWE. That is insane because they're painting her as being really greedy. Now, some of these women, it like makes sense. Some of the women, it makes sense. But what were you gonna say, sir?
I was gonna say, like, I know some of those women. I can see they're very popular. We're very, very talented. I can see all the way up until we get the Nia Jax. Carmella and Liv Morgan are hard arguments for me. I don't think they should be paid more than Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone, personally, because I think she should be one of the highest paid women in wrestling, based off her fan following is massive. She has a crazy loyal fan base that is super into her. Like, not Swifty level, but that kind of a fan base where they're very, very for her. And that's power. That's power, I think, for a wrestler.
Yeah.
You take into that she's also a fantastic wrestler with good look and presentation. I don't see how she's not making as much as Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Nia Jax making more than her?
That's insane.
I don't know who in the world can look at Nia Jax and Sasha Banks' wrestling, et cetera, their mic work, their presentation, everything, and be like, yeah, I can see why this person's paid more than her. There's no world.
I'm going to break this down just by the list of what they have. Ronda, I know this is going to be unpopular with pro wrestling fans, WWE fans. She is an MMA pioneer. She is insanely popular, and it's kind of like different but the same, like Jake Paul or whatever Paul we have.
She's the same as like some people won't understand because they didn't watch. You and I are not anymore, but we used to be very big into MMA.
Yeah.
Ronda is a female Brock Lesnar, essentially. Like, why she was getting paid that much more is the same reason Brock was. It's that same level of, she had that level of star power from the MMA scene.
Yeah.
Like, I get she lost at the end and everything, and she got some bad press, but there was undeniable. Ronda was a huge star.
Yeah. And next you have Charlotte. Charlotte's a hard debate because there's a part of me, it's like, well, Charlotte has a better track record, but she was also the chosen one. Yeah. So Charlotte's a little tough. Like, I think she should get paid the same as Charlotte. At least her agent should be going. Like, I think her and Charlotte should be in the same boat. The only thing that Charlotte has going for her is family, but you got Ric Flair and Snoop Dogg, so they both have famous people in their family. And on top of that, Charlotte has been given way more opportunities than Mercedes Mone, in my opinion. So I think they should be paid the same. At least if I was the agent, I'd be pushing for that. But I understand why Charlotte. Yeah. Carmella, there's no way she should be paid higher.
I agree on
Nia Jax, impossible. And Liv Morgan, I would say no. But
I would say no too, but she's crazy popular is the only thing.
She's crazy popular and she's crazy hot. And I think some, like, you know how some TNA fans and Impact fans rub you the wrong way? I don't think I've met someone that brags about how hot Liv Morgan is that I've actually liked. Usually if it's like in a Twitch chat or meeting someone or talking online, and they're like, Liv Morgan's so hot. It's the type of guy that you don't want to meet your daughter. You don't want to fucking stand next to. I'm just saying Liv Morgan probably has some of the shittiest fans.
I wouldn't doubt it. But
I've never met anyone that's like, no, here's the thing. If you like a bunch of girls in Liv Morgan, then you're not here. But you know those hardcore Liv Morgan fans? Yeah, dude, I don't know. They shouldn't be allowed around schools. I'm just saying, I don't know. I meet tons of pro wrestling fans online and offline. And if you're very pro Liv Morgan and nothing else, you're usually a piece of shit. I know that's not popular to say, and I might be offending you. And if you are, just be a fan of something else. Be like, I love Liv Morgan and Charlotte. You're safe. But if you only love Liv Morgan, you're probably a piece of shit. At least from the hundreds
Don't
of
worry,
fans that I
perverts.
met. Yeah.
Perverts, I got you. Tell them you love Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley.
Then you're fine. Then you're fine. You pass the fucking check. But anyone that's like, oh yeah, like, cause here's the thing, especially like on social media, or you meet someone like, oh, Liv Morgan's so hot, and then you're always like, oh, is she a good wrestler? What else do you like about her? And then you're just like, oh, you're just a fucking horrible human being that's a pervert. So, I don't know. I think Mercedes Mone should be paid higher than Liv Morgan, but I also think she has some of the worst fans. Even though Mercedes Mone fans are a little over the top, but I don't feel they're as perverted as Mercedes Mone is a god. Like, oh my god, she does nothing wrong. She just tripped on ice. Impossible.
I think it's just.
But you also have the other ones that
the boss persona.
And also, I think a lot of people love and hate Mercedes Mone too much. I don't think there's a lot of people on there being fair. But she is great, and I think she should get paid as much as Charlotte. And if WWE says, oh, you get paid a little bit more than Charlotte because we hand-selected her, feels kind of dick, but that's what they do.
So here's my where I'm at on it. Ronda is the only one on that list I could see getting paid more than her. But at this point, at the point we're looking at in time when Sasha walked away from WWE, if we're looking at that point in time, Sasha deserves to be paid as much as Ronda at that point.
Yeah, because she was so over.
She deserves more than Charlotte. Not only is she super over in the WWE universe,
yeah,
she's super over outside the WWE universe.
Yeah.
If we go off connections, Snoop Dogg plus multiple R&B artists are not just friends, family connections with her. I mean,
and she's in movies and stuff too.
But still, yeah, but she's also Star Wars, Mandalorian. She's got her own brand and everything. She's massive outside of wrestling. She's big. She is one of the people that you could be looking at as going more mainstream, similar to Rhea and everything. There are wrestlers out there that you have that can potentially branch out and start to do the Hulk Hogan type thing, which is good for wrestling. It puts wrestling in a great light. And I don't see, to me, Sasha, with everything she brings to the table and how talented she is in a ring and on the mic, I don't see how she's not worth as much as Ronda at that point.
I mean, it's a good pitch. It's a good pitch. I see your point. I just don't think
because look at that.
Timing wise, I agree. Yeah.
Look at the point in time of where she's walking away from the company. If that's the expectation, look at what Ronda is at that point in time. At that point in time, Ronda has largely destroyed her reputation in the wrestling world.
And MMA fans started turning on her too.
MMA world.
Yeah.
And she has no acting reputation really because all she did was bad acting movies. She was bad acting in those movies. She was not a good part of it. So she doesn't bring anything new to the table at that point. So I see that argument. Charlotte, at that point in time where we're looking at it, if we go off family connection, if we go off wrestling ability, Sasha and Charlotte, I don't think you can argue one's much better than the other. I think they're in the same category of great women wrestler.
They're both great, but they do different styles. So if you like one over the other, you might like that style more.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair. Charlotte can work a great Bret Hart style technical match where she works an injury and everything, and it's phenomenal. Sasha, however, can sell like $1 million. It's that baby face taking the beating or whatever and come back and it's $1 million, which is a great talent to have in wrestling and very rare. It's part of why people love Darby Allin. But when you look at the family connection on Charlotte versus Sasha at that point in time, Ric Flair's in the dumpster now. He was already in the dumpster at that point, and he had stayed in the dumpster since then. AEW is the only one that's taken him out of the dumpster. And everybody looked at AEW going, why are you in the dumpster? So I feel like Charlotte family connection at that point definitely loses because Snoop Dogg's connection only goes higher. with time, Snoop Dogg only grows more beloved with people.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a massive connection to
I don't
have.
think I've ever
And
met
he
anyone
loves
that doesn't
wrestling.
like Snoop Dogg, and I'm not even into music.
No, people love Snoop Dogg who don't even like his music. They just like Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
because he's been in so many things. He does cameos all the time, and he's a genuine wrestling fan who shows up to wrestling shit. If
And he saved the
and will
Mania
do
match.
Mania. Yeah, and he had the best moment of that. It was great. So I think when you look at the family connection, Sasha wins out at that point too. And then you look at outside wrestling, what do they bring to the table? Charlotte Flair, I like Charlotte, but if we're looking at it as in terms of their brand image and what they bring to wrestling and in a contract negotiation type aspect, Sasha beats her by fucking miles. Like it's not even close in terms of their brand power that they carry as an individual. And I think Sasha, the longer she's out of WWE, the more she's going to prove that.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing before we go to the next topic. We talked about this last topic. She kind of is what we talked about earlier with Drew McIntyre. She's the one that can work a pro wrestling style and a sports entertainment style. She like we said earlier, a lot of pro wrestlers can't make it in WWE, and a lot of WWE superstars can't make it in pro wrestling. And she's one of those that can make it in both. So
I will say, I think Charlotte would absolutely perform well in any women's wrestling matches. I think
yeah,
she would put on banger matches all the time. But if you look outside, if you take Charlotte or any of those other wrestlers on that list and you put them in the Mercedes Monet spot in Japan when she left, no one else gets the number of eyes on the product that Mercedes does or comes close to it. No
you,
one.
you might be right. You might be right. I mean, Ronda and Charlotte would be the only ones that debate, but you just talked about that, so we're just repeating ourselves. But yeah. So yeah.